In fact, we're bringing you a big ET Now exclusive. It's all happening in the telecom space. Telecom czars Sunil, Bharti, Mittal and Kumar Mangalam Birla, as we speak, meeting with the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Let's bring you the footage again. That's Sunil, Bharti, Mittal entering North Block. That's my reporter Ashna Mishra in green and Parisha Tyagi in black and white. We'll also show you Kumar Mangalam Birla. He's also at North Block. That footage will also come up for you. Also spotted at Finance Ministry, Uday Kotak. The big story, of course, has to do with AGR, Adjusted Gross Revenues. That's Kumar Mangalam Birla wearing his poofy winter jacket, accompanied literally by Ashna Mishra and Parisha Tyagi, my colleagues who happen to be at the Finance Ministry. So the two telecom czars will be meeting with Nirmala Sitharaman. The idea, of course, being to try and find a solution to adjusted gross revenues. The damage is done. The Supreme Court has made its intentions very clear, pulled up the telecom companies as well as the government for not following its orders. Since then, you've seen the telecom companies, Vodafone Idea paid 2,500 crore rupees and Bharti Airtel paid 10,000 crore rupees. But what next? Will Vodafone Idea become a going concern? Will the government dial in with an SOS? Will it come to the rescue of the telecom companies? And that brings us to the ET Now exclusive story. We understand from our sources that the new option on the table and being discussed by the telecom czars, the Prime Minister's office, the Finance Minister, senior bureaucrats of the Finance Ministry, is to have a telecom fund of sorts. Call it a stress fund, call it an SOS fund. The idea is that if the telecom companies pay the AGR dues and how much ever they pay, that money would be put into this fund. And that money would then be given as soft loans to the telecom companies. It can be long-term loans with soft interest. The idea is to manage the cash flow of the telecom companies, to ensure that no telecom company becomes a going concern. And such a move would also be fiscally neutral for the central exchequer. It's another debate that the situation should have never come to all of this, but now that it has, this is one of the new solutions that we understand from our sources. And this is something that has been discussed at the highest level of the government, of the Modi government. The telecom czars have certainly mooted this idea. The second option, we've been hearing about this, elongate the timeline of the adjusted gross revenue dues. So paid over years, it could be 9 years, 10 years. And the government, we understand, is also going to be taking a legal opinion on waiving off the penalty as well as the interest. The third option, legislation or an ordinance to work around the Supreme Court judgment. It's ironical that the government, under a different dispensation, had introduced an ordinance to make Vodafone pay. And this government is looking at an ordinance or a legislation to actually save Vodafone. So that's the big story, the three options that are on the table. One, have a telecom fund which will give soft loans to the telecom companies and therefore make sure that nobody shuts down. This government very committed to still having three telecom companies, should not become a duopoly. Second option, we've been hearing about this. Elongate the timelines. The story we at ET Now had broken a month back. Elongate the timeline. Look at waiving of penalty and interest. Third one, introduce a legislation or an ordinance.